What is going on, everybody? I just got back from a super mini trip to Vegas, and first thing I want to do as soon as I got back is start doing my review. I just typed up a quick little thing. Definitely give that a read if you want, but main thing that I want to do is to go over screenshots, videos, whatnot. So this is my new spreadsheet here. I have eliminated some strategies, added a bunch of variables, keeping track of FANG stocks, the sector that it's in, NYSE or NASDAQ. There might be something here. I remember reading that it's one or the other. It's like NYSE has one market maker, whereas NASDAQ stocks have like 16. So I'm just seeing if there's anything significant about that. Is the tick charts helping me? Was the SPY influential on the stock that I was trading? Was the SPY helpful? Big one here is ABC setups. What else we got? Nothing over here, but new compliance list here. A bunch of different things I'm paying attention to. Obviously, 44% is terrible. Again, can read about it a little bit more. My strategy, I don't really know what I want to call this. Just strategy, more numbers, expectancy, average loss, whatever else. Keep track of SPY, compliance stats, short, long, NYSE, NASDAQ, the FANG, ABC. You know, just trying to find anything and everything that if my stats tell me something, I need to pay a little more attention to it. I don't think I did anything new down here. I haven't looked at my charts yet, though. Losers are pretty ugly, but I mean, there's plenty that went right and went wrong this week. I mean, I came back, you know, after taking 2 weeks off. I knew it was going to be a little rough coming back into things, so I was way too happy to be trading on this very first day here. So a bunch of these I ended up just over trading completely, really. And then I wanted to lower my risk a little bit, so had a decent win day, but I didn't risk more than $52 on any given trade, so money just wasn't really that special. And then the next day, you know, just making a little bit more mistakes, but past 4 trades here, you see the sums 369 here, and then my first, what is that, 21 trades then. Lost $350 on them, so it only took me 4 trades to dig me out of the hole that I dug myself in, which is absolutely what risk management does for my trading. So I mean, I'm definitely on the right path there. Daily chart, numbers, running P&L, really nothing significant yet. I hope that it'll start to look a little more smooth as we keep going here, but right now it's just kind of shrunk. I wonder if there's a way to make it so that it only starts with, I don't remember it. I'll have to go back to it later. But average green day, 156, 145. Nothing super special here. Took 25 trades in the entire week. Average win 62, average loss minus 47. 2 winning days, $74 in commissions is definitely more than usual. Lost 2.6 R on the week. So I mean, it's my first week back, so there's really not too much going on with the stats. I mean, it's just gonna be a little funky, just because, you know, I'm not trading at my absolute best yet. So what I really just wanted to do with this video is just go over the trades. So the very first trade that I took, not on Facebook but on Roku. Oh my, there it is. So Roku, super solid gap and go here. Just great bull flag, fake breakdown lower, bought back up. I mean, just really picture perfect. I guess we'll just go to the video.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the new year. It's going to be my first
Come on, man. What's
day
going
of
on?
the year here. Revamped everything. Took a deep look.
Alright, don't even listen to myself. So Roku. A little faster so we can get somewhere here. I know it's gonna take a couple minutes, so see that fake breakdown? Looks like there's a hidden buy there at 55 or something that's just holding super well. You know, that almost I've been really thinking about this because I saw it on this trade and I saw it on another gap and go, I might just want to buy that pullback like that, because I mean, it's almost like that it's just a trap trader trade, and you know, we get that breakdown, no follow through, bought straight back up. It's just a solid long just right now. I mean, it just tells me that it's gonna be pretty good. So let's see. So looking at it, trying to get in above 89 here. Decent little pop there. Spread got a little wider. So far, really nothing super special. Waiting to give it a little bit of a chance here. I think my risk was around 60 something. So it looks like that 76 was the last spot that held, so that becomes my new risk. At this point, definitely change it to 76. Because giving it plenty of time, I mean, it's got to make a move one way or the other. But we still got to worry about this whole number here they break. Definitely hidden seller there. Break above him. Pretty nice pop up there, heading towards pre-market highs. Up there, 14.15 starts looking like it's slowing, but then we just get a nice another pop there. A little bit red. You can see it starts slowing down. I think I was a little slow to cover there. I probably could have gotten a little bit more on that. Somewhere in the mid-20s, but overall, first trade of the year, not too bad. Next was on Facebook. The other big thing that I'm keeping track of is this little column here is should not have taken. Plenty of them already. I mean, I already took 4 of them. Win rate on all of them is 0. Average loss, I can't see what that number is, but it's 40 something, I'm sure. And average R loss is more than -1, which is definitely not something that I like. So, Facebook trade was on this little situation here. Really not ideal. Just kind of a slow chop grind, just anywhere and everywhere. But regardless, we did get that little trap trader situation here. We popped up above recent consolidation, came back underneath. I think my problem with taking this trade here is this is where it's got to make a move already. I mean, it failed to make a move lower. We're making higher lows, came popping back up, little hammer here, low volume. Doesn't tell me that it wants to go lower, but I entered it in anyway, close to VWAP there. Took a fat loss on it, full stop on it, so just kind of paying the price there for it. So let's see. Don't know what I was looking at. I mean, it's got low volume going into it. I know Fang's usually following the SPY here, so I did put that it was influenced by the SPY, and I put that the SPY was not helping. So the SPY I saw was at about 16 there. So the SPY is about 0, flat on the day, popped up pretty well there. So yeah, the SPY is definitely not helping me. Yeah, you can just see it right there. It's clear as day. As soon as the SPY starts spiking, Facebook starts spiking. But I don't know, it's just an ugly trade, honestly. It's just not ideal. I don't know. I really don't know what I was trying to go for here. And the other thing is the whole number situation. If we can't hold underneath those numbers. So it looks like I'm trying to see if this thing is going to hold here or not again on another retest. So maybe it pops up. It's a little slow. Gets right back underneath. Not the greatest volume. I mean, it's just not an A+, high confidence, high probability trade to be taken. I really don't need to sit here and watch all of it. Just ends up squeezing up. I mean, my stop's at 43, so another thing that I probably need to type a little bit more about is warning signs too. But I never got a situation this whole week where I failed to respect warning signs on getting out of the trade early. And then the Sage trade came, and I just remember that one was just an ugly one. So Sage, here, let's do it on the video. So Sage ends up being a nice gapper, up 50%, so really big here. It's got closed underneath 100, so super strong open. Came back to VWAP, well, not quite VWAP, but made a somewhat little flag here. I mean, you can tell it's really low volume, so it convinces me that the pullback's not holding. We got pretty decent volume going back up again, but we don't reach that high, so we come back to VWAP again. I'm looking for it to hold, around the whole number. We had the 9 coming up. We still had VWAP coming up. So I mean, it's a relatively low volume pullback, so I really wanted to see it come into VWAP just like it's doing here. The spread is just massive. So it looks like I'm trying to get a limit order in as it comes back up above the whole number, or I'm not trying to get it in. So I didn't get filled on that, but put my order in at 151, so I got a partial fill there. I think my issue with this one is because the spread was so big, I remember thinking to myself, man, I can get a really good entry right here if I can just get filled a penny above the bid. I mean, just because I can get a good entry does not mean that it's a good trade. Because we end up moving lower, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, just end up immediately spiking right back out. I mean, that's just a trade that should not have happened. I didn't even mark that one as a should not have taken. As add another one to the list. There's no reason to be taking that trade. And then for whatever reason, I mean, we kind of just broke underneath this somewhat recent range here. We got the 20 coming up on it, but we're closing underneath VWAP, and we've had 2 chances to break out here. It's not an ideal SMB VWAP setup, but I go for it again. It's what I was calling the make or break candles. I mean, it's either got to break above or I'm just not going to get in on the trade. I mean, we never got above anything here. I mean, if I really wanted to get back into this, I think the clear spot to get back in is if price gets back above the whole number. I mean, we got relatively strong actually coming back underneath VWAP, and then it's holding underneath VWAP and the moving averages. Just terrible trades there, really. Alright, so next is MU for SMB VWAP and a symmetrical triangle trade. Need to find screenshots. So looks like I originally had a symmetrical triangle much earlier. Kind of broke down from. Had a nice little retest. Problem is I wanted to wait for VWAP to really start coming into play here. So if anything, it kind of set up for a new one. I mean, it had a decent little break here. Volume's really nothing super special though. I think it looks like a really good trade, honestly. I mean, it's really not too bad. I mean, we just had a little fresh breakdown, made a new low, pop back up, still holding, and then it just pop back up. I mean, as far as I can tell, there's nothing wrong with the trade. I mean, it looks pretty good. So MU right there, breaking down out of it, holding up VWAP, made a little test lower, holding up again, come back to that trend line. So I mean, it's really not a bad position. I mean, I'm not seeing anything wrong with it. I don't think I tagged anything special about it. Did spy, that was after 60 minutes. So I think I just hopped in on it as it still started looking like it was holding. I mean, I don't think it's a bad entry. I mean, we're still holding, no problems. If anything, I could look for a trap trader scenario, but at the same time, it's had its attempt to get back above VWAP with the moving averages coming down on it. Looks fine. The only issue that I can think of is on the 5-minute chart. The 9 EMA is probably somewhere in there. I don't know if it's going to be underneath, but I'm sure the 20 is starting to come into it too. Stop loss super tight. I mean, you can see it on the ask too. It's just absorbing all of those shares. So I mean, the sellers are definitely there, but we just didn't have the strength to go down, I guess. Not to mention the SPY. I mean, we were talking about this there earlier on. The SPY was flat on the day, and now we're up $1.50. So clearly the SPY's holding things up, wanting things to move up, but MU hadn't been as strong as the SPY. So if MU's not as strong as the rest of the market, then it must be weak, right? Just one of these situations where trades just don't work out. Another attempt lower. I mean, maybe there's a warning sign situation in here, but I don't. Because my entry was so good, I'm just not concerned about that. I mean, clearly above 91, the problem is going to happen, and then, yeah, there it is. As soon as we get back up there again, just sees that little squeeze. Again, that low volume dropping off. Just kind of shows it really. So, I mean, just trying it sideways for the rest of the day from that point. So then what else we got? Got PCG for a whole bunch of things here. It was an early entry on a VWAP and a symmetrical triangle trade. So big triangle here. I think this is where one of those situations where I want to get into the trade before I get confirmation, I guess, because on any other symmetrical triangle trade, I'd be looking for this thing to come up to the next trend line before anything happens. But because we also, I mean, it's a really nice pattern here. It came down. We just had a big volume spike. I suppose that was after my entry. Let's just see. I wanted to get that early entry in because regardless of what, everything is happening, the moving average just being on top of everything like this just looks really good. I mean, I took, what did I do? I don't think I went full size. Yeah, I did. I went pretty big. I took 500 shares. Stopped clearly above the range. I mean, this might have been, it's definitely an early entry. That is for certain. So I hit it. I hit it as it looked like it was getting back underneath this, so I kind of set up for a new, well, I didn't even see this triangle here, so it broke out of that triangle underneath. Kept making, lower highs and lower lows each and every time here, so I mean, the thing looks great for another little breakdown here. So I'm entering in 500. Stop, I think it was about 23, because it wouldn't make sense to put it this close, because we got each up in here every single time. I think I labeled this a trap trader trade too, didn't I? Nope, just the earlier entry. Kind of a little poke right there. Came back underneath. Whole number's always going to be a little bit of an issue. But the sellers are there. I mean, you can just... I remember this trade. This was the trade where I tried to get out. As that was it right there. I tried to get out whenever I saw those sellers disappear. So I mean, clearly see them. We're just waiting for one way to break or the other. So that we make a little step down. They're still there. Going down more. Still there. And then my problem is, I think it looks like I'm looking to take a little bit off. The problem is you can just barely see it. I'm trying to get out right before, like right there. That's it, right here. You can see a little big order go there, and then we get the huge one coming up. So as soon as those sellers disappear, I'm looking to take off some. I gave it an A setup. I'm not so sure I agree that's an A setup. Either way, really good volume. I did take a little bit off down there. Caught it at 98. I mean, there's nothing wrong with holding on to this trade for some more continuation, because at this point it looks pretty good. We broke underneath the whole number. Huge volume on this breakdown. It did get bought back up, but we still have plenty of resistance for this thing to hold through. Another situation here. I think this was the push where I tried to get all out. Yeah, made a little push there. Let's see. I need to see where my mouse is at, because that's what's important. So I'm changing my stop. I mean, it's the same situation, you see, and then you see him getting eaten up, just slowly. I tried to click the buy all, but I was just too slow on it. So then I end up getting stuck and holding, which still isn't bad, but this is the warning sign situation here. Still holding, still respecting. But at this point, I have to be thinking that this trade's not going to be that great anymore, because it's taken way too long to actually have a breakdown. Both times we've gotten underneath of this 19, bought back up, and it's big green volume. So it's almost like a last-ditch effort scenario right here. Yeah, you know, I'm thinking about the trade itself and the setup as one total thing. Whenever I look at it over here, yeah, it looks really good. But if you look at it again 5 minutes later, it doesn't look that good anymore. So I am going to leave it as an A setup. It's the same situation, you know, just getting bought straight back up. There's nothing wrong with exiting this trade and looking to re-enter if it gets back underneath 19 again. No problem at all with that. I mean, clear warning signs though. They're all about right now. So we got another make it or break it candle situation here. We got these moving averages just barely on top, and it looks like we're trying to get above it. But I am a stop in, so I'm still holding on for dear life here. But I absolutely could have exited this trade with a tiny win. To put it in at 11. Man, it's giving me another chance here. Yeah, it just pops up, squeezes me out. So I need to make sure that my compliance on this, I gave myself a 1 on compliance. That is definitely a warning sign. Ignored the warning signs. So this is a 4. So PCG, change that to a 4. So that lowers my compliance even more now. Now I'm at 40%. So then after that was, must have been the SPY trades. 2 SPY trades. So clearly looking at it for a short, I'm sure it had to have been around some significant daily level. Just looking at it here, decent volume on this break. I was looking for it to start topping out. So we just failed to make a new high up here. I shorted it as it got back underneath the moving averages. Still, I mean, everything is uptrending. Ended up making that bear flag, and I absolutely should have exited this trade much earlier. Added more as it got back up here. It almost becomes like a trap trader scenario where we break out above this range, and then you see it get stuffed back underneath. Can't quite match up the volume. Yeah, it looks like the red volume is still pretty good, so I mean, it's not a terrible situation. But this is where the huge warning sign was. I remember all of it. So we got that big spike, and then it's immediately stuffed underneath. But there's still plenty of things to worry about in terms of support. I don't know how long I'm looking at this thing, but yeah. So it ends up stuffing, gets underneath the 50, bought back up, fails to make a new high, does move lower, but at this time, it's failing to make a new low now, and it's failing to make a new low on really big volume. And the volume, I think, here is the huge indication that I need to get out of this thing. Just take it. Just cut the trade. Super small loss. Ended up turning into a $102 loss. I think it skipped over my stop loss. Yeah, it did. I had it 35 with 36, and I mean, took an extra 20 cents on that loss. Just terrible. Make sure I mark that one right too. So B setup, I guess. Should not have taken. I should not have taken this setup. I'd have to go back to my daily report card to figure out that one, but I marked as an SMB, and compliance was I misread the price action. I mean, you can say that too, but it's also another case of ignoring warning signs, and this is where I run into the issue of, you know, if there's multiple issues for one trade in terms of compliance, I don't really know how I need to mark that, but this was definitely a warning sign loss here. But I wrote did not respect the price action. I'm wondering a little bit why I wrote that. So and we started holding above this 253.80. So I was looking at 253.50, but ultimately we were holding above that 253.50 level, which was the big daily level that I was trying to trade against. So I'm shorting on top of that level as it's continually telling me that it's holding above that level. Clearly more bullish than bearish. Took my chances, ended up taking way too big of a loss on that. I mean, if anything, tiny win, tiny loss, that's it. There is definitely no reason. So yeah, should not have taken, makes sense in that situation. Alright, so that was Monday. My god, these weekly reviews are gonna be so long if every single day is gonna be 8+ trades. Alright, so on Tuesday, I lowered my risk. First trade I took was on Facebook for an unusual buyer-seller trade. What happened on UNP? What was that? I know. Oh, that's right. I just labeled it differently because I wanted it looks nicer whenever I have 4 UNPs in a row instead of a UNP Facebook, then 3 UNPs. Anyway, ORB break up. Only was $30 on the trade. Took a $25 loser on it. In terms of compliance was fine. So it popped up. Really choppy action for the first 5 minutes. Definitely not ideal. But regardless, bullish move up. Just take it when I got it. And just ended up coming back down. So it's a Facebook trade. I don't know, but yeah. Definitely an unusual buyer-seller because this doesn't tell me anything besides if there's anything on the tape. So I'm watching it. I just noticed that this 142.50 level was acting a little funny. You know, it tapped up there a few times here. I just wanted to watch the tape, see what was there. So we get there. Didn't look hidden. That looks hidden, and I do hit it. It skips over me, but comes back and fills me. But then I'm at the point where it's already made that quick little pop scout move that I'm looking to take, and now it's come back on it. So now I gotta be really cautious. If this thing starts moving against me at all, it's just a trap for longs, because it's already overextended. But luckily enough, ends up popping back up. Makes a new high day. And looks like I took it at that 63, so I had it at 70. I just waited a little bit too long, it looks like. You could see it start to struggle there once it made that new high day push. So looking at UNP again here. So Facebook, I labeled that as a 2, which was waited too long, lost profit, and that's definitely true. So second UNP trade that I took, I wrote that I should not have taken it. I didn't even label it anything, so this was one of a really bad ones. So that's a 7. What is a 7? FOMO? Yeah, it's a FOMO trade here. So I'm shorting this thing up here. Stop loss right above this recent range. I'm really not sure what drew me to want to get into this. Clearly 152 is a big level that it's trying to hold above. Got up above, made a new high day above the 152.50, got stuffed pretty hard, decent volume, bouncing again from VWAP, but we have the moving averages on top of price now, so it could certainly break down. It's just too early. You know, with the symmetrical triangle trades, I can get away with entering in a little early as it looks pretty good, but I think I see what I'm trying to do here, and then I messed up my exit price, so I end up losing way more than I wanted to on that too. I mean, if anything, it just looks like good long. I mean, it's holding above VWAP. It's not losing this 152, really. It's just stuttering around it again. I mean, there's just no trade here yet. I just don't know. Just don't know. So I'm looking to short it again here. This is good for a re-entry trade. Definitely glad I didn't leave it alone. So I have a new column for re-entry trades as well. So there's re-entry and a trap trader scenario. So now that we broke above somewhat of this range here, stuffed again. Low volume is a problem though. I'm entering in short, so it got back above 152.20ish. Stuff back underneath. Super low volume on that attempt to reclaim and move higher though. So now it definitely looks like a really good short. Now it's definitely 100 times better. So it looks like I entered in as it got towards that 152 again. Not ideal really. I think I probably could have gotten a better entry there. Maybe been a little quicker. Definitely a symmetrical triangle. So we get a nice little breakdown there. And I just remember telling myself, you know, it's got such a good move already. I just didn't want to let any of it go. So I ended up taking everything off of the trade. I absolutely should have just taken a little bit off. There's really no reason for me to be taking everything off in one of those situations where, I mean, it's really good at this point. It's not great here, but here it's great. It's already made that attempt higher. Stuffed once, stuffed twice. And then the third time doesn't even get an attempt. I mean, and I got just a huge volume. It's a great trade. Poor trade management. I still look at it though. So what did I mark that as? So I gave myself a 3 on that one, exiting when I should have held. And then the next trade that I took was good trade. No compliance issues on the next one. The next one was just a VWAP trade. So, had a really nice breakdown, kind of consolidated a little bit. I think the main thing that drew me to take this one was, it's failing to move lower, but as we're coming back up to VWAP, we still have this nice little level here, which is just kind of coinciding with VWAP in the 50 as it starts getting up top, not to mention the super low volume up there. So this is a really, really low volume pullback on this. It made its attempt higher. It just looks like it's starting to fail, so I'm entering in. Just want to watch my entry. So I'm trying to get 250. I just go for it. I'm just right in on it. Decent little push there. Failing to come back up towards VWAP. And then we get a really nice break, taking a little bit, not making the same mistake again, or I'm taking everything off, but just taking a little bit by little bit. $151, clear price target. Just looking at the volume bars too, look at that. Big red, small green, yeah, I'm talking about it there. Depending on what it does in this situation, it is certainly an add back into the trade. But I have another little pop lower. Take a little bit more off. No problemo. Gets down to 151, and then we get a really nice break under 151, and then I'm all out. Yeah, hidden seller and just loses it. Huge break there. 87. I saw 80. I probably could have gotten 80 on that one, but ultimately it was alright. Taking things as it comes. I mean, it's another situation where if it wants to reconsolidate, set up again, definitely nothing wrong with re-entering back into that trade. And it looks like it's doing just that too. Setting up for another little triangle. I mean, it does come back to that 151, taps it once, taps it twice. Same scenario, big red, smaller green. Got a big green there, but in the middle of this range here, that doesn't mean too much, I guess. So it did end up making a somewhat of a push, but it got bought back up, stuffed, bought up again. Yeah, just kind of a choppy mess. It's an hour and a half into the day, so I mean it's not too late into the day that it wouldn't make sense to get back into it, but just didn't for whatever reason. All right, next day. So first trade, oops, what did I do? First trade on Kohl's there. Does the gap and go down? Same situation. Somewhat of a recent consolidation in here. Fake push higher. Doesn't want to move higher. Then all right, let's go lower. So I'm just waiting for that little breakdown. Problem with this one, we're already at minus 9.5 and the circuit breaker isn't on. So I know that as soon as we end up making this move, we're going to be pretty close to minus 10%. And that circuit breaker is going to flip on. And as soon as it does, I know that I'm in a little bit of an issue. So there it was. I saw a flash 10, circuit breaker just pops on. And then you got to be really careful about what's showing on the tape. If that circuit breaker pops on and price just completely stalls, then you got to get out. I mean, you just see the bids were stepping up just a little bit, and then comes right back. It's the circuit breaker curse. So that was fine. Oh shoot, what did I just do? So that was definitely a good exit there. Definitely happy with that one. So I'm looking at Macy's. Macy's looks great. Attempted higher, completely stuffed. Starts consolidating a little lower here. Circuit breaker is always something to worry about. Have time with a market order, just gotta go for it. This was the weird one though. I mean, it's a circuit breaker, so I have to go for the market order. Low a day is at 90, it's at 90. I have to put my order in, and unfortunately I just get filled as it's popping back up. We never actually got that true break underneath that 25.90. So I just gotta deal with what's happening. But I mean, we're still respecting all the levels. That's really interesting price action there. Who am I stopping at 17? I mean, honestly, I think I should just be getting out of this trade and just try again once it gets back down to that 90. I really don't need to hold on to this thing the entire time if it never triggered in the first place. There's just no reason to hold on to that. So what I do, I gave it a B setup, probably because of the circuit breaker. I'll give myself a 1 on compliance. I think it's not a 1. It's just not, because it never triggered. So if a trade never triggers, I shouldn't be in that trade in the first place. I think I'm gonna give this a warning sign. I'm gonna give it a 4. Clear opportunities to just get out, take a small hit, get back in if it gets back down to 90. No problems with that at all. So then we got Target. Target was just a mess the entire day. I took an opening range break down on it. I just remember being very bearish on Target the entire day and just waiting for it to tell me that it wants to move lower. So it's a really nice opening range setup. I mean, not bad at all. Clear consolidation. Something's holding it up down there. Comes back to VWAP. Right back underneath. It's pennies away. Just waiting. Always a good sign to see any kind of pullback get stuffed with that kind of volume. Got up to about 11, so right there, and then it got stuffed again, so we're back at 11. You can see it's kind of getting hit whenever it gets up there. And that looks like that was the end of it. I mean, just clear shooting star candles here, just looking real good. Lower relative volume. So get that break. Saw a big buyer there, he was gone immediately. So on this trade, I just remember I got such a nice move on it. Just making a mistake. The thing that I was talking about last time where I want to hold on to trades, that's in trades later in the day. This is an opening range play, and I know from my past experience, every single time, just take majority off early in the day. There's no sense in expecting a trend creation to happen within the first 5-10 minutes of the day. So I mean, I get a really nice solid move on this thing. Problem is, only took 50 shares. I mean, it is a very nice move though. So I only took 50 shares, but I should have known better. Comes back, I'm still holding, and then I end up exiting it out all up here. It's an early exit, so I mean, that's fine with me, but it should have been majority down here and then the last 50 over there. So I mean, I should have had a much nicer profit on that one. Either way, it sets up really nicely here. I mean, this one looks great. Nice little triangle that it's making. 20's coming down, 9's coming down. It looks like majority of the time it's getting underneath here. You know, consolidating underneath. The problem is this might turn into like a trap trader situation, because I mean it's creeping up. I mean, I think this might have been my early entry one actually. So yeah, this was the early entry. I was just taking like a little feeler on it, so I only took a $5 hit on it. I mean, if it goes, great, but if it doesn't go like it's not going right now, exactly what it's doing, trap trader situation. I mean, that's a good ad right there. I'm definitely okay with that. So we ended up making that pop above, exactly what I'm looking for, and then we come right back underneath the whole number, the moving averages. It's just great looking. I want to watch the tape again though. Just want to see it. So spiked 15. I mean, I'm not seeing anything green on this tape the entire time that it was moving up. Nothing. Just like all red, just like hitting, sellers just hitting this thing. So when I get my signal, it's great. Super good setup. But once we got underneath, we just got no follow through. But I still gotta hold. Just gotta wait and see what happens. And now it just becomes a problem because we're getting good volume, but it's above the moving averages. So I mean, this thing very well might want to squeeze higher. But I'm holding, so there's definitely nothing wrong with that. Ends up being a decent little push here. Good volume though. Now it's good volume with what the candle actually did. So now I know I'm in a pretty good situation here. I can hold on, waiting for my profit target, which was 66.65. So I'm looking for about the bottom of this candle here. I think my only issue so far was that my stop loss was like up in the 20s. I should have just made it tighter, just above that recent little push there. I mean, so far we're looking great, consolidating underneath the moving average and the trend line. Low volume. You could barely call it a pullback. There's the pullback. And then I get out. I should not have gotten out. There's no reason to get out right there. There just isn't. I remember thinking in my head, you know, I want to make sure that I'm cutting any losses, protecting profit. I just poor trade management. So at that point, that's when it starts looking a little more sketchy. So we got back down there again. I think I'm waiting for another trap trader scenario. I'm waiting for another push and then another re-entry to get there. But ultimately, I should have just held on to this thing the entire time. But at this point, it's when I start needing to get a little worried, because now we've made that push and nothing's happening. And I mean, if I'm looking to trade triangles, then it's gotta break. I mean, if it doesn't break, it's just a trap. And I mean, here it starts spiking back up, and I mean, if anything, this is where I should have looked to get out. Because it's okay if you give it one chance, but to give it two chances, that's the warning sign. That's, or I guess one chance here. Here's the two chance. And then clear, volume just growing. That's the time to get out. So what did I give that? 3. I gave that exiting when I should have held, definitely. And then the rest of the target trades are just misreading price action. Just did not respect the price action. I remember it just being a mess. Early entries on a couple of them, symmetrical triangle trade on one, and then the other ones I just don't even label them. They must have been that ugly. So my first problem is that I'm redrawing the triangle. Had it there for a second. Again, just like I'm talking about, you know, we've had so many chances here to actually break down previously after seeing this big bear flag pop back up. Pretty good volume. Did get stuffed, so I remember thinking bearish from the beginning. And, you know, we're getting that, just that little push underneath. Came back for a retest. It's failing, but we're still not getting that break. Enter in. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with a super small entry just to begin with, but I mean, the price action's there. But then this is where it really killed me, because it doesn't look too bad on this one, because we get this huge candle on crazy low volume, and that just tells me that something's going on here. That's just not right. This is the cause, super small cause, but the effect was huge. It's just, it doesn't add up. So I add more into it, and I wait to see what happens, really. And I add full size once we get underneath. Looks like VWAP again. Yeah, I click that button, and as soon as I click that button, immediate spike right back. I mean, the signs are all there. It's just it's almost like a neutral case at this point. It's not telling me enough. I mean, I'm getting completely mixed signals from this. I'm thinking bearish from the beginning because retail was getting crushed that day. I think the SPY was looking weak, and Target, Target was just like the outlier on the day, and just something was wrong with it. So we get down to that 09, and then just that huge spike back up. I had my stop at 35, but it looks like I'm moving it, which is definitely fine, because now if anything it's a breakout higher from this triangle. Yeah, it's holding the trend line, moving averages underneath it. The 50's coming down on it, so I mean, I got like one case or one thing in my favor. Makes that push lower, and then that's the end of it. This is where I was talking about that make or break candle. 50's coming down, it's gotta make that move. It made that move, and then it got bought back up immediately. Warning signs. Just get out. Just no reason. Wait for it to hit my stop. Take the full hit. It's just ugly from the beginning. Just bad. So at this point, I remember feeling just upset just about what was going on. Misreading price action, just not getting follow through. And then I'm starting to look at Macy's. So Macy's, this was the point where I started realizing that we're just not seeing any follow through with the gaps that's happening on retail. Macy's holding higher, just stepping up, higher highs, higher lows, made an attempt lower, bought back up really well on really good volume, starts making these triangles over and over again, still lower volume pullback, big spike up, big volume, waiting for it to start holding above VWAP here, you know, trying to get a good little retest. Had a nice little pop out of the triangle. So I made that push lower, I bought back in. Looks like I got full size right from the beginning. This is a good trade. I'm really happy with how this one turned out. A little unhappy with how long it took to get any follow through, but either way, happy with what happened. I'm not going to sit here for forever. Just starts making another triangle, comes back to the lower trend line, fine. Same situation now, it's like almost like a trap trader scenario. Get that small consolidation, break out lower, see what happens right afterwards, see if it gets bought back up. It does. So I enter in again. I added more into this. I mean, it came within a penny of my stop loss. It ticked 84 right there. But no luck. Had to respect the trend line, had to respect the price action. Gotta stick with the stop loss. I mean, I haven't had that move yet, so I'm not really seeing any warning signs, I guess, to get out of this trade yet. I mean, it just still looks good. Problem was we just had so many sellers up here. It just took forever to bust through them. Just getting tighter and tighter. Back up to 97. See on the tape, there's no correlation here. Nothing's changing, and then you start seeing them really get chipped away here. We start seeing some big numbers coming in, and then we're just waiting. We're waiting for the break. I took a little bit off in front of it because I wanted to lock in a little bit. I was also pretty big at the time, so I wanted to make sure that I'm at least taking away a little bit from this, just in case. I mean, you don't know how big those guys are. It very well could completely turn back around, fail here, end up breaking down, moving lower. Step above, and then boom, just get that huge squeeze up. Just great. So I took everything off on that move. It jumped immediately to my profit target, and I was down 200 bucks on the day. I wasn't looking to try and hit a home run here. I was just trying to get what I needed to get from the trade, and I got exactly that. It's another situation. It comes back, retests. This is where this is later in the day. This is where stocks can start trending. This could be the trend creation breakout right there, but it wasn't. Came back on pretty good volume too. Bounced from VWAP, not really so much the trend line, and it just started looking ugly. Just nothing looked good enough for me to want to get back into that thing. Looking at that volume, there's no takeoff period. It gets stuck. I don't remember what else happens to it, but either way, solid trade, no problems there. And then the last day here, yeah, good compliance on that. Last day here, GM was a great trade. I'm really happy with how that one turned out. So again, bull flag, fake break lower, bought back up, right at the open, broke lower, even harder on opening volume, bought right back up. So I know that I'm in a pretty good spot here for some kind of trade. Just ends up being an opening range play, I think. Yeah, the problem with this one is I only took 250 shares. I gave myself $90 of risk on 250 shares. I'm risking $36.80. Yeah, maybe this wasn't that bad actually. Just get such a nice move again. I mean, I just get all out. I think I did enter above the range break. So it was up there. Just got to my profit target. I get all out. I don't know. It might not be an ideal thing to hold on to. I mean, again, it's the opening range, so I just want to take any moves that I can get. I don't know, my risk is just, something's just off about this. I'm risking like 35 cents here. Only to make 25, so I mean it's not even a one-to-one situation, and I think that's just because of that wick. What am I looking at? Yeah, risk of 36.80 a minute 15, so yeah, it's only 0.67. Yeah, there it is right there, 36 cents risk, only trying to get 24 cents out of it. I mean, it's a good looking setup. If that wick wasn't there, I mean, it's really nice. I mean, maybe I'd have to go look at all my screenshots and whatnot and really see if it would be worth it to switch this to above the candle breaks instead of the wick breaks. I mean, if anything, there's almost like a triangle in here that I could be entering off of. I don't know, just a solid move. It was a decent Decent trade. And ATVI was awesome too. So circuit breaker, always an issue for shorting. But decent move down, came back, decent volume, getting stuck at this 45-50 area. Starts consolidating underneath VWAP here, and I'm waiting for some kind of break one way or the other for a trap trader scenario. Obviously I like it more to the short side just because we got the moving average right on top of it, VWAP's underneath it. It's just bearish altogether all around, so I'm waiting for some kind of move right around the 40s to get above this wick here just to see what happens. So we get up there, 40, 43, 42, and then we see that. So that's when I know that I'm in a good spot here. So I see that, waiting for it to still get underneath VWAP, or I just enter in anyway. And right off the bat, just a good start to the trade. Shooting star, doji candle, 20 getting closer and closer to price action here. I mean, it looks great. Looking wonderful. But this 45 was an issue for a little bit. It was acting as pretty good support. I took a little bit off in front. Fine. Took a little bit more off in front. Fine. Because I think that I made my profit target. Yeah, my profit target was a break underneath 45. So this is one of those trades where I can look to re-add back into this. So we're getting a little bit of a pullback. It's fine. No issue. Just have to see something like that to make sure that I'm still in the right position here. I mean, after we saw that big red, no buyers stepping up here. Just sellers still there. And we start stepping down. This is a place where I think I can be adding into this and getting much bigger here. Because I have a new stop loss. Sellers are still there. I mean, it's a really good looking trade. So I get the break underneath and I'm just taking it off. So I'm all out. Again, same situation. You know, if it sets up again, get back into it. So I am looking at it. But again, I just gotta wait for price action to tell me. It needs to tell me something. And at this point, it's this from this candle right here. From there, it actually looks really good. That's not too bad. But then it makes a little push lower, really good volume. And then this is the issue. There's just no follow through. I don't know. I might have wanted to add right there. That might not have been a bad spot to get back into this, but I guess luckily I didn't, because clearly it would have been a loss. Not to mention, it just, I mean, after this much consolidation and a few fake pushes higher to see this thing stuff, to only see this thing move 30 cents from that after, I mean, you know, the thing's already had like a $2 range, to only see a 30-cent move from that, that's not that bearish. I mean, that volume candle isn't that significant. I mean, it's higher relative to the recent past ones, but it's just still not that good. So either way, I avoided it, and that was fine. I mean, this whole day, though, I cut out an hour of footage of me just talking to myself. There's about an hour deleted footage in between here. I talk about it more in my daily review if you want more info. It was just a mess. I was watching anything and everything for that next hour, and just stocks got within pennies of setting up, and then they just didn't and totally failed. I mean, it just happened everywhere. So that is that for the review. Always feeling good about going over this stuff. I already typed pretty much everything that I was feeling. If you guys want to read that, probably would be good for you if you're curious. If not, I am definitely looking forward to tomorrow. Plenty to work on, always stuff to do, always stuff to read. Should be a fun Monday, so thank you for watching. Be back later.